CBS News Bay Area Afternoon Edition with Ann Mekovic.
Right now on the Afternoon Edition, the battle continues against nearly 24 wildfires raging in the foothills, and some Bay Area resources now on the way to help. Thanks for joining us this Thursday. More than 21 square miles have now burned in the Sierra foothills in this complex of fires sparked by lightning. They span parts of 3 counties. Firefighters have about 15% containment at last check. In the Tuolumne County town of Chinese Camp, Lane Smith's 4-generation family home survived, and he also jumped in to help his neighbors.
There's a ton of brush, hauling it away, trying to get away from all this, and all this is catching on fire, and we were shoveling, all of us running and shoveling like a bunch of wild men. It's just a small town. Like, I know everybody that owns all these ranches all the way around us, and they're the ones here providing water trucks, heavy equipment, everything else.
Hundreds of firefighters are battling these fires caused by thousands of lightning strikes recorded across the region. A CAL FIRE battalion chief says the effects of that lightning storm might not even be felt for days.
When they strike trees and they destroy the tree, sometimes the heat will sit inside that damaged area for quite a while. So the next week is going to be when they begin to emerge.
Resources from the San Jose Fire Department have been deployed to the TCU complex fires, including a strike team, engines, personnel, and a battalion chief to serve as a resource unit leader. In Calaveras County, evacuation orders and warnings are in place for what's known as the 2-7 fire. It's in the area of Vallecito off Highway 4. 600 acres have burned there, and that fire is 20% contained. CAL FIRE battling the flames with helicopter, water drops, and ground crews. Families say they're grateful for the efforts, but are still nervous.
Just a lot of stress, and just because you don't know. You just don't know if the wind's going to pick up. It's going to blow ash, which could start a fire. Even though the fire is over there, it could literally start a fire in this dry grass right here, right? And you might not notice it. And the next thing you know is everything's engulfed.
CAL FIRE tells us hand crews are critical in building containment lines, putting out hot spots and preventing embers from being picked up by the winds. And they are making progress. Another one of the larger fires is burning in Stanislaus and Calaveras County. That is called the 2-2 fire. It's burned nearly 3,500 acres, 0 containment there. It is near the community of Eugene. Neighboring towns are safe for now. We're going to keep an eye on all of that. First alert weather now. A live look outside from our Mount Diablo camera. A little bit hazy out there due to some of these fires. Let's get over to meteorologist Zoe Mintz, because we know that the forecast has a lot to do with what firefighters are dealing with.
Yeah, the good news is that the weather is not going to hamper those firefighting efforts necessarily any more than they did on Tuesday when we saw that dry lightning complex blow through. Right now, we are dealing with quite a lot of smoke from these wildfires. The TCU September lightning complex is the big one that sparked on Tuesday morning. It is 15% contained. It's nearly 14,000 acres. And look at the smoke that it's bringing down to Southern California. Actually, just south of the TCU complex, the one that's actually bringing even more smoke, that's the Garnet Fire. And then across the Pacific Northwest, there is also widespread wildfires breaking out from that same complex, and it's bringing widespread smoke. Across the Pacific Northwest is where the worst of that smoke is, but you'll notice farther south, there is going to be a little bit of a buildup over the Sierra. But if we take a closer look here in the Bay Area, we're actually going to be relatively lucky when it comes to not dealing with the worst of the smoke. So if we pull down our U.S. map and pull up our DMA map where we are here in the Bay Area, again, let's look at our smoke forecast, because there might be a little bit of haze in the upper levels of the atmosphere. That's actually from the storm system, or from that wildfire that's across Northern California. It's not going to be nearly as bad here. You don't notice those darker and deeper yellows and pinks and purples that signify the worst and most unhealthy air quality. I'll let you know, though, if that's going to change in the next couple of days coming up in my full forecast.
Thanks, Zoe. Stay with us on air and on our website, KPIX.com, and on the free CBS News app for updates on these wildfires. An overturned big rig caused some problems for drivers on southbound 101 in San Jose today. The Highway Patrol said at least one person was hurt, but we don't know how bad their injuries are. You can see the truck blocking all of those lanes there. This also shut down the ramp from 880. They were able to get that rig back on its wheels at around 8:30 this morning. And our chopper caught the traffic backup. This was just before 9 this morning, right during the commute. The Highway Patrol says the lanes were able to open just before 9:30. Transportation leaders and Mayor Daniel Lurie gathered at San Francisco City Hall today to kick off what's known as Transit Month, a chance to honor transit workers and inspire a new generation of riders.
Every single person here understands the importance of Muni, including me. It is at the heart of San Francisco's recovery. Downtown will power our city's comeback with revenue that funds services for every neighborhood. But if people cannot get downtown on public transit, this recovery cannot happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of public transit agencies are going broke these days. Leaders are calling for more investment in public transit and also highlighted the role it plays in fighting climate change. Spirit Airlines is cutting service in a dozen cities, including Oakland, San Jose, and Sacramento. This comes less than a week after the discount carrier announced it was filing for bankruptcy, a second time this year. The cuts start October 2nd for most of those cities. Spirit says they're going to reach out to passengers with existing reservations and talk about their options, including refunds. Today, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. testifying on Capitol Hill for the first time since the massive shakeup at the CDC. This comes as a large number of both current and former public health officials call for his resignation. CBS's Natalie Brand has more from Washington.
Testifying before lawmakers Thursday, HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. defended last week's shakeup at the nation's top health agency.
We are the sickest country in the world. That's why we have to fire people at CDC.
The ranking Democrat on the Senate Finance Committee pressed him on the firing of CDC Director Susan Monteraz.
Did you, in fact, do what Director Monteraz said you did, which is tell her to just go along with vaccine recommendations, even if she didn't think such recommendations aligned with scientific evidence?
No, I did not.
Ahead of the hearing, a letter from 1,000 current and former HHS staffers called for Secretary Kennedy to step down, arguing his actions are compromising public health.
On behalf of parents and schools and teachers all over the United States of America who deserve so much better than your leadership. That's what this conversation is about, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, they deserve the truth, and that's what we're going to give them for the first time.
The Trump administration has defended Kennedy, even as public health experts sound the alarm over new guidelines restricting eligibility for COVID vaccines and his overhaul of a key vaccine advisory panel.
Republican Senators Bill Cassidy and John Barrasso, who are also doctors, voiced their concerns during the hearing.
I would say effectively we're denying people vaccine.
There are real concerns that safe, proven vaccines like measles, like hepatitis B and others could be in jeopardy.
Another GOP doctor, Senator Roger Marshall, defended Kennedy.
What you and I are fighting for is we want to empower parents to make these decisions.
Kennedy testified today HHS is enacting a, quote, once-in-a-generation shift to tackle the root causes of chronic disease.
All right, we are following some breaking news right now in San Francisco. A police shooting investigation on the freeway underway right now. Our chopper is over Highway 101. This is at Cesar Chavez. And the San Francisco Police Department confirming that its officers were involved in some sort of shooting there. We can see from the aerials that there are officers. They're blocking the off-ramp at Cesar Chavez, as well as one northbound lane of 101. Still waiting for more details on exactly what led up to this shooting, if there were any injuries. We're going to stay on top of this. Meantime, this is another view of the scene right now from a traffic camera. San Francisco Fire Department says they did take one person to the hospital. Again, we are looking for more details, and we're going to bring you them as soon as we get more information. Still ahead here at noon and streaming on CBS News Bay Area. A big matchup on tap at Valhalla. How the Valkyries could be making history tonight in a big way. And she is proving that even in tough times, birthdays should be celebrated. We're going to meet a Bay Area icon serving up love, and hope. That was just a live look at Chase Center because the Golden State Valkyries could make history there tonight. They have a chance to become the first WNBA expansion team to make the playoffs in their inaugural season. Veronica Macias has more from Thrive City.
The Golden State Valkyries taking on the Dallas Wings here at home tonight at Chase Center. Tip-off is at 7, and of course you can watch them with us on KPIX Plus. The Valkyries, they have the drive and the momentum to possibly clinch a spot in the playoffs tonight. And this isn't just so cool. The Valkyries, they're also on the brink of something historic. This would be the first time ever an expansion team makes it to the WNBA playoffs in their debut season. Golden State beat defending champion New York and held the Liberty to a season low 58 points, with the Valks currently in the 6th league standings, with the top 8 making it to the playoffs, of course. They have a 3-game lead over the LA Sparks with just 4 games to play. Let's go ahead and listen to Valkyries coach Natalie Nakase.
We haven't clinched the playoffs yet, so until we get the X near our name, then, and then after that, we got to make sure we're prepared, we're healthy. We got to make sure we're healthy bodies going into the playoffs. So there's a lot of things that still need to be taken care of.
But there is a possible plot twist in the celebration if they're able to clinch that playoff spot. It seems like there is a scheduling conflict here at Chase Center with the tennis tournament, so that playoff game may not be here at Chase, but it's yet to be determined at what venue it would happen at. But for now, everyone just excited that before the end of the week, the Valkyries could be in the playoffs.
And if you want to see it for yourself, you can watch the Valkyries take on the Dallas Wings as they try to secure that playoff spot. The game is going to be live on PIX Plus tonight. Pre-game coverage starts at 6:30. Well, birthdays can sometimes be overlooked, especially for people living with homelessness. But a woman on the peninsula makes sure that they know their worth and are celebrated. Sharon Chin introduces us to this week's CBS News Bay Area Icon Award winner.
From bingo to breakfast, Maybelle Regaspi makes sure everyone feels special at the party she's throwing at a local shelter. The shelter was her home for several months when she escaped an abusive marriage more than a decade ago.
I felt safe because I had a roof over my head, I had beds, and the people here were very nice to me.
1 for sure.
And when she got back on her feet, she returned and started a ministry. She leads a birthday celebration once a month for residents at one of Samaritan House's shelters in San Mateo County.
I wanted people to remember that your life matters, that even though you're at the shelter, you deserve to be celebrated.
In fact, this particular party celebrates 10 years of Maybelle's ministry. She cooks a hearty breakfast with help from volunteers from a handful of churches.
Oh, 66, come on, somebody's got to have a bingo.
They run bingo for 60 to 80 residents who show up.
Oh, 66.
Oh boy, it looks like we've got a winner!
People win gift cards plus gift bags for those having a birthday. Natalie Collins' birthday was honored in the spring. How did Maybelle make you feel?
Really nice and special.
Yeah, like you were not forgotten.
Yes.
That kind of thing.
That everyone counts and matters.
Are you guys still available?
Longtime volunteers like Mike and Violet Brum said they feel blessed to serve in Maybelle's monthly ministry.
How many times do we have an opportunity to just put a smile on someone's face and just help them to feel special? That was just a real gift to me.
She's someone that doesn't really think about herself, but she thinks about others above herself.
As an extra gift this month, Maybelle also organizes free haircuts, manicures, and a special guest over Zoom.
Right? So I would like for them to hear your story.
Kiana had a heavy heroin addiction when she and Maybelle lived at the shelter years ago. Today, Kiana's turned her life around and is thriving with a family, house, and ministry, an inspiration for current shelter residents to keep going when life feels hopeless.
This is not dark. This is just the beginning.
And Maybelle shares her own story, a book about how she bounced back, leaning on her Christian faith and community of support.
What's your gift to them?
Just the hope. Just the hope that, okay, that girl came out of this shelter and she was like that. Just the hope.
So for serving shelter residents with love and hope in her birthday party ministry, this week's CBS News Bay Area Icon Award goes to Maybelle Regaspi.
And you can nominate a local hero for a CBS News Bay Area Icon Award on our website, kpix.com/icon. All right, back to our first alert weather, taking another live look outside at the city of San Francisco. Let's check back in with meteorologist Zoe Mintz.
It's a beautiful one out there for those fog lovers. If you were a little bit too hot the past couple of days, the next couple of days are for you. It was a beautiful sunrise to start off our morning. Above the clouds, this is a typical view of the Bay Area this time of year. That fog quickly peeled back, and now that we're stepping out this afternoon, the Santa Clara Valley is seeing a good amount of sunshine. Also a little bit of haze in the upper levels of the atmosphere, as there is some wildfire smoke in the Central Valley of California, and maybe a little bit of it again in the upper levels of the atmosphere, but it should not be impacting our air quality. Here in San Francisco, it's foggy still to kick off our afternoon, so if you're planning on heading outside, sunglasses might not be necessary. It's still bright though, so if you have sensitive eyes like I do and they water even with the cloud coverage, just keep that in mind. Temperatures this afternoon are sitting in the upper 60s to low 70s. Ooh, that is a little chilly. Grab a jacket if you live closer to our coastal communities, as those temperatures out there this afternoon are going to be about 1 to 2 degrees below average. And by tomorrow, they might be up to 5 degrees below average, as that storm system that brought us all of the lightning and brought us the wildfires, this is it right here. It's continuing to slowly make its way north and evade us and bring us in more moisture on the back end of that system. So moisture is a great thing, along with those cooler temperatures. Both help to reduce that wildfire danger as we step out. And like I said, it's going to continue through tomorrow, those more moist conditions and relatively cooler temperatures. This afternoon, those highs are sitting in the 60s closer to our coastal communities. They are expected to warm up into the mid to lower 80s across our inland areas that are now beginning to see a bit more sunshine. Also mid to upper 80s down into the Santa Clara Valley, 70s for areas by the Bay and up across our North Bay. So within a degree or two of normal, but that cool down will continue through the later parts of the week. And then we're going to stay relatively seasonable, if not below average, through the weekend and into next week. So our 7-day forecast is overall looking really, really lovely out there. That is great news for any of those of you that might want to spend time outdoors and not have to worry about extreme heat or fire danger again. It's going to stay relatively low, at least for the next week. Back to you.
Thanks, Zoe. The 49ers kicking off their season on Sunday with a matchup against the rival Seahawks. Matt Lively has more in our Red and Gold reports.
This is the Audi Red and Gold Report.
It is game week for the 49ers, and first up is a divisional foe, the Seattle Seahawks, as the Niners look to make last season a distant memory.
Being able to start 1-0 in the division, on the road, hostile environment, a great football team. We got to come ready.
The 49ers announced 8 team captains on Wednesday, and Deommodore Lenoir was the new guy added to the mix. Lenoir has enjoyed his rivalry with Seattle, even if the Hawks' wide receiver room looks a little different.
Without my fellow friend DK, they're a good group of receivers. They got some confidence, and I feel like on Sunday is going to be a very fun game.
Forget the noise. The Niners like playing in Seattle. In fact, they're going for a 4th straight win on the road come Sunday.
Still ahead, looking back on the life of a fashion icon as the fashion world mourns his loss. We're going to look at how Giorgio or Armani revolutionized the industry for over 5 decades. All right, another check on our breaking news. A police shooting on Highway 101 in San Francisco. Our chopper is over the investigation right now near the northbound Cesar Chavez off-ramp. The SFPD confirms that its officers were involved, but they have not released any details on what led up to this, who's involved. The off-ramp is blocked right now, as well as one northbound lane. The call came in at around 11:20. San Francisco Fire says they did take one person to the hospital. We're expected to get an update from the SFPD soon. We're going to stay on top of this. A big loss in the fashion world. Legendary designer Giorgio Armani has died. He was an icon of style and elegance, and his ready-to-wear looks revolutionized how women around the world dressed. He was equally famous for his red carpet designs and was a favorite of Hollywood A-listers. Giorgio Armani was 91 years old. All right, that is it for us at noon. Remember, we are streaming 24/7 on the free CBS News app. Just go to Live and then choose Bay Area. Meantime, enjoy your Thursday.